I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to another review of a shelf in the Dice Tower Library as I look at all the different games that are here. This is Rack 12, and we are out of the historical games and back full bore into Euro-style games. That's kind of what's on this shelf. So we're just going to go through this shelf. I'm going to talk about the games that I know about and guess about the ones I haven't played about. So first we have Ragusa here. Now Regusa from Capstone Games, this is part of a trilogy actually from the original company. I think there might be more than 3, but I know there's at least 3. The other 2 aren't in my library for whatever reason. This is one I found to be okay. I didn't dislike it, but I felt like each game of it would be fairly samey, but at the same time, it is one that a lot of people like, thus it's in the library. Crystal Palace is the same way. I've not actually played Crystal Palace, but I know it's a fairly hefty, heavy Euro game. And if it's from Capstone Games, frankly, there's a good chance it's going to go in my library because Capstone Games has beautiful components and they handle the heavy Euros really well. Next to that's Manitoba from DLP Games. This is a game, it's been a while since I've played this one, but I do really enjoy it, and it's worth giving a try to, although I suspect it's going to end up in the forgotten realms of games and be off the shelves at some point. Now, next to that's a game that will not be forgotten for a long time, and that's Underwater Cities. Underwater Cities, of course, from Delicious Games, put Delicious Games on the map. This game, for a while, I debated having 2 copies in the library, but the hotness on it has cooled down, but still I see people play it. I've also upgraded a lot of pieces in it, so it's a lot of fun. Then we get to a couple of older Euro games, but I think they're worth having in the library. The first here is Goa. Back in the day, Goa was hot. Woo! It was an auction, collect tiles type game, moving things up track. It was a very definition of a soulless Euro in many ways, but I really enjoyed it, and it's still worth checking out. Myrmes, on the other hand, is a very thematic Euro. It's about an anthill. There's a lot of cool ideas in here. It's a little tighter than it should be, and honestly, it needs kind of a reboot, like a Myrmes 2.0, that would allow you to take more actions. I think you don't get to take enough actions in it, but I like the theme enough, that's why it's in there. Then we have a game, Adventure Island, and I know that a lot of people like this game, and this is one of the games I don't even know much about it. For some reason, it's in the library, because I think Z likes it, and I just haven't got around to playing it. The very ugly game next to that is Baseball Highlights 2045, and I feel bad about saying that because I really do like Baseball Highlights. This game from Mike Fitzgerald is really well done. It's a 2-player deck building game, but not really a deck building game. You build a deck in between games. You're essentially playing a whole bunch of rock, paper, scissors games that gets increasingly more complicated. I really enjoy this one. And I like baseball, but even if you don't like baseball, you'll probably enjoy it. Offshore next to that, this is from Aporta Games. I think Aporta Games is one of the most underrated companies out there. And this one here is about oil drilling, and it has a lot of really cool ideas. It has a semi-co-op nature to it. I mean, it's not a semi-co-op game at any means. You're trying to win, but you're working together with other players to build these offshore oil platforms. A really interesting game. Next to that is a fantastic game called Fantastic Factories. In fact, I'm about to, when you see this video, or I already have reviewed the expansion for it. Just this game, every time I play it, I like it. Rolling dice, placing those dice, using those dice to get resources so you can build more cards. Just a fantastic game all around. Gunkimono, next to that, is a somewhat not that pretty of a game, unfortunately, although it's based on a game from Heartland that was a farming game, wasn't much better. But this is a tile-laying domino-style game that is just mean as all get out. I mean, wow, is it mean. But you know what? I like it. I really do. You're just trying to form big areas that you control of different soldiers. And the original one was different crops. But if you've never given this one a try, it's worth checking out. Next to that, we have one of Dr. Finn's games, The Waters of Nereus. Now, this one is not one of his more well-known games, unfortunately. I think it's pretty good. I would put it in the upper tier of games that he's done, but I don't know how long this one has in the library. Welkin, this is the second game on this shelf after the Adventure Island, where I really don't know anything about it. I know it's from Ancana, and I like their games much of the time. I think they have great production values, and this is one that I really should give a whirl to. Then we have Christmas Tree. Now, Christmas Tree is in the library straight up because it's a theme I like, and I put it in here as like a personal, this is one of the games that I think people should check out. Christmas Tree is a game where you're putting ornaments on a Christmas tree, and the way you put the ornaments on the tree will score you points based on what you're next to, and cookies and all kinds of things like that. It's a fun theme. It's a fairly abstract game, but I like it a lot, and if you ever play games at my library, try this one out. And then finally, Shipyard. Ooh, Shipyard. Now remember when we talked about underwater cities? Yeah, everyone screams about Vladimir Suki. This is one of his first games, Shipyard. Now, if you ever played a game with a rondel where you move pieces around, Shipyard is a rondel of rondel games, and that's not a joke. There's one big rondel and then multiple smaller rondels, and you're essentially building these ships and putting goods on them and windows, and it's a really cool game. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's a themeless game. There's definitely a lot going on in it, and I think it's really well done. But what is my favorite game on this shelf? Ooh, there's a lot of good ones here, and I bet I know what a lot of people's favorite is, but for me, it's gonna be Fantastic Factories. There's just something about Fantastic Factories. Every time I play it, I go, man, I love this game. I love rolling the dice, manipulating dice, putting dice down, and taking actions in different orders. It's a great game. I keep wanting to use the word fantastic about it, and that's probably not best. Anyhow, what's your favorite? I bet some people it's going to be Underwater Cities. A few people are going to say Shipyard, and maybe it's one of the other ones. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching another review of a Dice Tower shelf in our library.